Whenever you're down, out in the cold, faithless and dark, your story's untold. Come take my hand and walk there with me. I know a place where we can be free. There is a light shining for you, guiding your way, helping you through. When shadows and gloom are all that you see, we'll find a place where we can be free. From the mountaintop down to the deepest valley, hear a voice calling you. It's the rising sun, shining in the darkest valley. Can't you see you will be free? I have been far, I have been wide, searching for peace, somewhere to hide. Now I am free, open and pure, fearless and babe, I am secure. There is no dark that can't be lit. We'll find a way if we just commit. We are one. There is no them and us. Together we're strong. Together we're free. From the mountaintop down to the deepest valley, hear a voice calling you. It's the rising sun, shining in the darkest valley. Can't you see you will be free? Can't you see you will be free? You will be free. Whenever you're down, out in the cold, faithless and dark, your story's untold. Come take my hand and walk there with me. I know a place where we can be free. There is a light shining for you, guiding your way, helping you through. When shadows and gloom.
Okay, good morning, y'all. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Like I said, this morning we doing chapter 8 in 735-5, and we just gonna go. So if you got any comments, you know what I mean, just let me know. You got any input on the subject or the topic that we're talking about, you can just of course you can stop me, we can talk about it. And yeah, so let's go ahead and get started. So chapter 8 is conducting the investigation. So investigative work is critical phase of the FLIPL system. A financial liability officer's task is to seek out all the facts that surround the loss of damage of government property. The purpose of a FLIPL is to determine responsibility for loss through investigating the relevant and contributing facts. A financial liability officer must stay free from bias or prejudice. An investigation should not be started with predetermined ideas as to what caused or who is to blame for the LDDT. A thorough investigation may establish no fault, or it may establish that financial liability should be recommended. The financial liability officer investigates as thoroughly as needed to ensure the facts are fully developed, the interests of the government are fully served, and the rights of the involved individuals are fully protected. This chapter provides examples of the different types of losses and specific factors a financial liability officer should consider when developing findings and recommendations. The financial liability officer must begin the investigation immediately upon notification of being appointed financial liability officer. The financial liability officer will use the statement in Block 9 of DD Form 200 and the attached exhibits to begin the investigation. If the loss is damaged property, a financial liability officer will first physically examine the property. After physically examining the damaged property and determine that it is no longer needed for the investigation, the financial liability officer will prepare a release statement to release the property for repair or turn in as appropriate. If an expert opinion is needed to determine the cause of the damage or the cost to repair it, the financial liability officer will submit the damaged property to the maintenance activity for a technical inspection. Submit requests for technical inspection and estimated cost of damage on a hard copy of DA Form 2407 or automated DA Form 5990 maintenance request per DA PAM 750-8. If photographs would be helpful later in the investigation, the financial liability officer will obtain the photographs before releasing the property for repair or return. The financial liability officer determines whom to interview and obtain statements. Interview and obtain statements from all individuals whose useful testimony may assist in deciding the cause of or responsibility for the LDDT of the property listed on the DD Form 200. For losses or damages previously investigated by a board of officers, military, police, or other authorized official, obtain a copy of the report or extract the information and attach it to the flipper as an exhibit. When using classified or otherwise sensitive references, make a statement to the effect in Block 15A along with the location and identification of the investigation report. Obtain other available exhibits such as hand receipts or ECODs, estimated cost of damage. Before contacting the individual, the financial liability officer determines what information should be obtained from them. During the interviews, other questions may arise that will require additional interviews with persons already interviewed or with other persons not originally considered. If so, the financial liability officer will follow up on these interviews as needed. The financial liability officer should consider interviewing the APO, the primary hand receipt holder, and sub-hand receipt holder, the users of the property and their commanders and supervisors, any witnesses, any other identified through the investigation. The financial liability officer documents individual interviews using a DD Form 2823. Type or legibly print in ink an individual interview statement. The individual signs and dates the statement. If the DA Form 2823 is not available, plain bond paper or ruled paper may be used. Type or legibly print the word certificate across the top, followed by the individual's statement and his or her signature and the date insert at the end of the statement. When obtaining statements from persons who have some form of responsibility for the property listed on the DD Form 200, the financial liability officer should consider whether the individual statement is self-serving. Individuals who had responsibility for the property being accounted for on DD Form 200 may not incriminate themselves. The financial liability officer must confirm whether such statements are factual through the use of other independent statements and evidence. All statements will be recorded on DA Form 2823. Sworn statement. Different persons' statements may be in conflict. The financial liability officer will resolve the conflicts and determine the true facts by comparing the conflicting versions with other known facts and circumstances. Interviews may uncover other evidence that will assist in developing findings and recommendations. Other evidence deemed necessary in the conduct of the investigation may include copies of hand receipts, standard operating procedures, police reports, accident reports, copies of orders, other investigations, ECODs, and photographs. Mark the evidence as shown in paragraph 5-11 and include it with the flipper as exhibits. When evidence such as AR-15-6 investigation is classified or sensitive, the financial liability officer will reference the investigation in DA Form 7531, Block 15 by indicating that its location and the identification of the report. Attach the evidence to the flipper as exhibits per paragraph 5-11. If during the conduct of the investigation the property is recovered, the financial liability officer ensure accountability is reestablished using the guidance in 12-2. So we're gonna go over personal rights. Personal rights. The financial liability officer must consult with the serving office of the staff judge advocate prior to questioning any individual witness or respondent believed to have rights under Article 31, Uniform Code of Military Justice. See UCMJ Article 31. This includes individuals suspected of financial liability, especially if misconduct is suspended. Okay, you guys, so we just went over chapter 8, the conducting the investigation. So we'll just let you know what the financial liability officer is supposed to do during the investigation. Basically just collect statements, damages, take pictures of the damage if it's damaged property, and that's pretty much it. Not to be biased or prejudiced or anything towards anybody. Don't go in with assumptions. Just giving them people that they might want to talk to, which is the primary hand receipt holder, the APO, the users of the property, any witnesses, and of course they have to document their interviews using the sworn statement of 2823. So you guys, that's all I got for today. Next week we'll be on chapter 9 right here, which is financial liability. We'll go over chapter 9 next week, you guys. So that's all I got for you guys. See you guys next time.